Welcome to a cottage paper video tutorial on making a sunburst card. I'm Katie Ferguson with Cottage Paper. Here is the card I plan to show you how to make today. First, you begin with 4 pieces of Designer Series paper, and these are cut 1.5 inches by 5 inches. You could even use scrap pieces, but it's easier if you use pieces that are all from the same collection. Then you cut each piece diagonally. As you can see, it doesn't matter from which corner you cut the pieces. And then flip over one piece from each pair so that you're looking at 8 different print patterns. Then play with the arrangement of these and create a pattern that you find pleasing. You can see the one I used here. Then get a piece of Whisper White or Very Vanilla cardstock, 4 inches by 5.25 inches. You can use whichever color blends with the background of your DSP. And this is going to be the base of your sunburst. Then with a pencil, make a vertical line down the center of the piece along the short axis. And here I've done that with this pencil. I've made it darker than you probably will, just to hopefully it'll show up on the video. Then you cover the piece with a dry adhesive of your choice. I think most liquid adhesives, such as the Tombow multi-purpose adhesive sold by Stampin' Up, would just dry too fast. You need to use a dry adhesive, and you need to cover the whole card in order to make sure that your seams are totally flat. Then begin on either the left side or the right side of the middle of your card and align one edge of DSP along the pencil line. You don't need to cover the pencil line. I don't think the pencil line will show, but you can if you want to. And you need to make sure that the DSP extends over this top of your cardstock base. Now you'll notice that the pieces can be arranged so that most of the DSP is at the top, the excess like this, or at the bottom like this, or somewhere in the middle. The lower you place the DSP, the more of the middle pieces themselves will show, and the less of the end pieces will show. You can see right here on the original card I made, this is literally the first card I made, and you can see my little piece down here barely, you might even be able to tell it's a piece, but it is. It barely shows. I didn't pay any attention to that because I learned from experience. Now I know I should have. But of course I think it's a perfectly attractive card anyway, but that's something to keep in mind. Then once you align the first one, that's the key, is to getting the first one aligned and deciding how you want to do it. And I'm going to move it to the top because I want more of the pieces to show. Then you take each piece. I've decided to have this in my design next. So you align it up. Now I do not have my adhesive on here, as you probably observed, but you line it up and abut it just against that and press it down firmly. And then you do the same thing with the next piece. And then you just keep on going and have all of your pieces on the card. You do not have to worry about covering the bottom 3/4 to 1 inch of your cardstock, as it's going to be covered later, but don't leave more than 1 inch showing. After you've applied all of your pieces, flip the sunburst over, and this is what the back will look like. Trim off all the DSP that extends past the edges of the top and the bottom and sides of your sunburst. You can do this with scissors or with a paper trimmer or paper cutter. I think I prefer a paper trimmer or paper cutter, but it's strictly personal preference. Once you trim it, you will end up with a piece that looks like this. Then cut another piece of either DSP or cardstock 1 inch by 5.25 inches, and then that you adhere along the bottom edge of your sunburst piece. Now I used a piece of cardstock that had embossed using the fancy fan folder, and this is the side most people use, but I didn't want quite that much texture, so I turned it over, and I kind of like this side better anyway. So you apply that, put adhesive on it, and put that at the very end. Now you will notice that I cheated a little bit. I really made mine more than 5.25. I like to make sure I have plenty, and then I can trim it off so it's exactly even with the base piece. And so that's a trick I frequently use. Then once you adhere this piece, you can adhere a piece of DSP or ribbon above it. I added a strip of DSP above the 1 inch strip before I attached my scallop circle. but you can also use ribbon. And I attached this strip. I thought this is from the same collection, and I thought it gave the look I wanted. And I did not have any ribbon that pleased me on this card, so I used this. And you can attach it right above that. And again, you can see I've made that a little bit longer so that I can cut it off, and I don't have to worry about getting exactly in the right place. But a piece of ribbon would work well, just as well. Then once I had done all of that, you can either adhere it directly to your card base, in this case, Pool Party card base, or what I did was I adhered it to a piece of basic gray that was a tiny bit bigger, so that I had it like this. And you can see the look that I created right here. And then I embellished that with some circle punches and stamps and with a scallop circle. And then I attached that to my Pool Party base. And that's how you do it. Thank you for joining me today for this cottage paper video tutorial on how to make a sunburst card. I think it can produce a big wow without a lot of effort.